Welcome to the Roads We've Traveled, episode 7. How's everyone doing today? My name is AJ Pelletier. Hope everyone is doing well, staying safe, and all that good stuff. Looks like some stuff is starting to open back up finally. Just take it easy and stay safe, everybody, please. We don't want to go back to being in quarantine. I got a hell of a guest today, man, and I'm very lucky to have him on today. The very talented Mr. Otan Vargas. Otan, how are you, man?
Hello, what's up, man? Good. Despite of this coronavirus, feeling healthy and feeling a little bit positive about this. Not positive in a way that I'm positive, but I'm positive.
It's all we can be, you know what I mean? Like It's got to move forward, you know. Can't.
Yes, sir.
So. So how have you been? How's your family been during all this?
We're staying up here in New England right now, with my wife and my baby boy Gabriel. So we're good. We don't go out at all unless we buy food.
Yeah.
And or maybe walk, because we live by the lake. So we walk around the lake just to do some exercise and get some fresh air.
Yeah.
Other than that, we don't really go anywhere, because, like you said, I'd rather this be longer in one go, instead of suddenly things open up and we have to go again.
Yeah.
Quarantine.
I hear you. I mean, like, I know some places are already starting to open up a little bit. Like, I was just reading an article that a lot of businesses in Texas have already started reopening, and they just got like 1,000 more positive cases that came in.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, like, I just want to go to concerts again. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I know. Yeah, me too, man.
I got
the last concert was Stain, so now I was lucky to see them.
Man, you and I are kindred spirits when it comes to that band, because that band saved my life more times than I can count. And I'm actually supposed to be seeing them in August in Hartford with Disturbed for the 20-year of the Sickness tour, and I'm really hoping it doesn't get canceled.
I know, man. I don't want to give you false hope, but hope.
Yeah. I'll cross my fingers, but Ticketmaster's also being a pain in the ass too. But that's
Include your toes. Yeah, it's tough. Yeah.
So we met kind of online. God, it's been
a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, a long time. Yeah. I was still with my band in the Red at the time, and my guitarist Pete is actually mutual friends with John April from Stained. And you know, we got to talking and stuff online, and I knew that he was recording with Sakara, or doing an album for Sakara, and then I stumbled on you, and I listened to your music, and I was just immediately blown away by just how talented you are and how much your lyrics just hit me. And I think the last time lyrics, well, I mean, like, I can't really say the last time. There have been plenty of bands that certain songs have hit me hard, but I mean, like, definitely your songs hit me the same way like Break the Cycle did the first time I ever heard Stained, and I was just like, holy shit, like, this kid is good, like, really good. And I had to reach out and just, you know, introduce myself and just tell you, like, how good you are. So,
right? You're so good. That was the first time we met at the Foxwood show, right?
Yeah, that was the first official time we met, but we did talk online for off and on here and there. But,
yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I knew you before that, because I wouldn't be talking to you that long if I didn't know it.
I appreciate it.
Well, I'm a shy person. It's not like I'm snob. I'm a shy guy.
Yeah.
So it's not like I wouldn't be talking to you. It's not that way.
So, I mean, like, you say you're a shy guy, and I definitely can relate, because, like, when I'm up on stage, like, I'm a completely different person.
Yeah.
I'm a vocalist myself, too. and
Yeah.
I'm very confident. I'm very outgoing. Like I'm always trying to hype the crowd up and get them going and stuff. But when I'm off stage, I'm like the complete opposite. I'm like, hey, thanks,
Yeah.
kind of like socially awkward. I mean, do you get the same way too at shows or?
Whoever I am off the stage, I am the same way up on the stage.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much the same. It's but performing makes me you have that high after the show, because for me it's conquering your fears. I mean, stage fright. I have a stage fright. That's like the top of my list of what scares me the most, is being in front of people. And whenever I do that, especially on my own, every time I sing a song and I finish it, it gives you this high that, oh, I conquered my fears one song at a time. And that's that to me. That's what drives me. On top of like helping people in what they say, what they tell me about my lyrics, like what you said, and about my music. That's also my drive to conquer my fears whenever I go up on stage.
That's awesome, man. Like I definitely relate to you a lot, man.
Yeah.
Like I always found like the best stuff I've written has come out of my pain, and like I've connected with people that way, and I've been told the same thing many times. Unfortunately, I'm not doing much with music these days, but I'm trying to put something together before I turn 40, which is a ways away, thank God. But
Yeah. Hey man, there's this thing called I don't want to. I'm proud. Well, Alex Gray used the same term. It's called marinating. There's a this process to creativity. Just because you're not doing it, that doesn't mean you're not creating anything.
True.
It's probably in your subconscious till it comes out in the physical world. So you're probably creating something, you just don't know.
Well, this podcast is a good way to stay creative. I feel like, plus
exactly. Yeah, exactly. This is it. Yeah.
Oh, no, I appreciate that. Thanks. So, you're originally from the Philippines. Are you originally from I'm gonna butcher this name. I really
Yeah.
Tondo Manila. Is that how?
Yes, sir. Yeah, you pronounced it right.
Got it right. I totally fucked up on the last episode. I pronounced Cirque du Soleil so wrong on my last.
Oh, that's harder than Tondo, bro. I couldn't even pronounce that.
So, what was it like growing up in Tondo?
Well, here's the thing. I didn't realize how bad the neighborhood was because I was there. Till I left, because from the outside looking in, you didn't realize that, oh, you grew up in this kind of neighborhood. It's pretty tough because it's a poor neighborhood, and it is known for being a very bad place, like a lot of crime. And for example, I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. If I'm going to take a cab from a different city and you said you're from Tondo, the taxi cab would say like, no, get someone else.
Wow.
That's how bad the neighborhood. But I didn't know it was that bad till I left, and it didn't change my perspective of it. I still love my hometown, and I'm proud of where I came from. And because when you were a kid, everything is good. When you were a child, everything is nice, everything is beautiful, everything is colorful. It's when we grow up that we lose that that perspective. And suddenly we become judgmental of everything. But it was pretty tough. If you want to ask me about like how it is in terms of everyday life, I can only tell you about when I turned teenager. Like it's I couldn't say every other bad town out there, because it's one of those places that people talk bad about it, but when you're there, people love you.
Gotcha. So there's still that community within
Hmm.
the town, even though like a lot of stuff's going on all around, sometimes bad, there's still a family and community there that
Yeah.
sticks together. So that's really cool. And it sucks at the same time with the crime rate and stuff. Like I get it. I grew up in a town myself that unfortunately is got really bad over the years with a lot of crime and stuff, and I would hear stories
Mm.
from like my family growing up about like how it was so different. Like I'm from a town called Waterbury, Connecticut,
Yeah, I
and
know that.
we were known as the brass city capital of the world at one point. There
Yeah.
was like business was just booming all the time. Like people were always working. Like um, you can walk down the street and not get mugged, but now it's just like there's so much crime and murder and gang violence
Yeah.
and stuff. It's just great, but I mean, it's everywhere too. You know what I mean? And
It is. Yeah.
but there's still like those hardcore like Waterbury residents that are just like, no, like this is still a great city. We still love this city. So, and as I did move out myself, but I still proud to say that I came from there and stuff like that, even though it's changed a lot over the years. But I totally get it, man. Like
Yeah, it's your perspective about it,
exactly.
because I couldn't, like, I will never disown where I came from because that's because of that, because of the friendship that I built when I was a kid till I'm 20 is the reason why I am who I am.
Mm.
You know, and I couldn't. If you take that away from me, like, who am I?
So you do this was it a charity fundraiser for Tondo every year? I think I donated to it one year actually.
No, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. I know I made a donation, but it goes straight to the community. Am I correct? Or
Yes, yeah, the poor kids in Tonda, and there's a lot of poor kids there.
yeah.
You can see 8-year-old kids working at junkyards and charcoal uh, factories. Like there's still charcoal there. I know.
Wow.
I don't know if you see a kid like working on a charcoal
Working in coal
place,
mines
but
and stuff. Yeah.
not coal mines. We don't
Oh.
have that. But it's
Oh.
more like it's. I don't know how the process. I don't want to make a mistake of like. I think it's wood, burnt wood, and that turns into charcoal.
Oh.
I think so. I think so. But
Yeah.
there's a place called Happy Land, but it's Happy Land, but it's ironic because kids are working there, 8-year-old, 5 years old, 4 years old kids
Hmm.
working at junkyards, getting like uh you know how you see grown men getting like picking up metal and then they're gonna sell it to junkyards.
Yeah.
It's like that, but kids like walking all over the streets, everywhere in the streets, just looking for bottles, looking for papers that they could sell to the junkyard.
That's terrible. Ugh. I
And
can't.
the crime goes with that.
Yeah.
Just the reason why there's a lot of crimes because when if it's necessity, some people don't know where they're gonna get it,
Mm.
and the only place to do it, the only way to do it is to steal or to. I mean, I don't want to. A lot of people would say, "Oh, that's bad." You cannot really tell. I mean, it is bad, but you cannot really say how bad it is till you experience it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get
So,
it. Yeah, I
so
understand, man.
yeah,
Oh man, I can't. You gotta. You gotta. For listeners out there too, you gotta feel blessed too. Sometimes, and life can be hard sometimes too, and we all got to be very fortunate at what we have, and what we take for granted sometimes. I feel very blessed myself every day to still have a roof over my head that I pay for and take care of myself and
absolutely.
everything. And not a lot of people are as lucky, so it's just
Yeah.
different perspectives. You gotta just think about that. And I totally understand, man. Like it's crazy. Is this like an ongoing fundraiser? Do you still run it, or can people like donate it to it
Well,
if they like had a link? Or
I actually, me and my friend from Springfield, Mike Solin, founded this organization called Tondo Hungry Hearts.
okay.
The main agenda is to feed the kids every year, or not every, like have like a feeding program. But it started like a charity thing every year, and then and now somebody else is running it, my sister, is running it, and she's doing a great job with it. It's called Tondo Hungry Hearts,
Tondo
and she's
Hungry
doing a
Hearts.
great job. And she has people in the Philippines that does the community work, and people should check it out and help out.
Yeah, definitely. I'll post a link when this episode goes out, and I'll post it in the video too once this goes up on YouTube. Definitely, if anyone can donate, I know times are tough right now, and a lot of people aren't working. But anything you could donate, it's going towards a great cause. I donated myself, and any little bit helps.
Yeah,
So,
definitely, man.
so getting into music, I know your father was a musician. You get it obviously from your father, I'm assuming, right? Like, and my condolences again.
Thank you.
Your father passed away 2 years ago, and
Yeah.
I know it's hard, man. Like my father's health isn't great either, and it sucks. Like I get my vocals from my father too, so like I definitely, I definitely know where you're coming from, man. Like it's so. But you get your musical talents from your father. What was your dad like?
Well, my dad is a famous comedian in the Philippines. Comedian and singer.
I didn't know he was a comedian.
He was a comedian too.
Oh, no kidding.
Well, he started as a folk singer.
Oh, all right.
And he started as a folk singer. He was in a band. Oh, okay. Well, first, he was in a band with his brothers and sisters, and then he got kicked out of the band. And then he promised himself, like, "Oh, this is where I'm gonna stand. You left me here all alone in this business. This is where I'm gonna stand." So he started playing the guitar, acoustic guitar, and he started playing bars all over Manila, and got really good at it, playing headline venues and stuff. And then it got into the point that the market is so saturated with folk singers. This is back in the late '70s, and so the money wasn't there really. Then he talked to my uncle. I call him my uncle, but it's not really my uncle. Everybody's uncle and auntie in the Philippines. If she's older or she's older or he's older than you, that's the aunt. Or
well, even good friends to family, I call uncles or aunts or whatever.
Yeah, there you go.
They don't have to be family,
Yeah, it's just a sign of respect. You're older. I don't want to call you older.
Exactly.
Anyway, and then he asked my uncle, his name is Renato Gomez, to form a duo. At first, his friend didn't really like the idea. Like, who does that? Who does the comedy and then sing in between? Like, nobody does that. And my father, he's an original thinker, man, and he knows nobody does that. That's why we're doing it.
That's awesome. That's
and
awesome.
And the first, he told me the first time that they performed together as comedian and a singer was at a small bar, and he went inside, talked to the manager, and the manager was like, "Okay, what do you guys want?" And my father is the guy who was the originator of this idea, right? And it's like, "Oh, what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk to each other and make people laugh, and then we have songs too. We have our guitar." And the manager was like, "I don't have time for this. Get the fuck out." Like, wait, and my dad being like, my dad is tough too. Because we wouldn't survive the business if you're not tough, mentally tough.
You gotta be.
So,
You gotta be anywhere,
Yeah. So he told the manager, "All right, this is the deal, man. I know you never seen this before, but I'm gonna make it a deal. We're gonna be we will do this in front of your audience for 10 minutes. If nobody laughs or nobody applaud, kick us out, and you're not gonna see us ever again. If somebody like it and people like it and they laugh, then you gotta feed us tonight, and you're gonna hire us again." So all right, I'm like, the guy and the manager was just laughing. All right, you got some balls, huh? All right, go up on stage, and they didn't. Everybody was cracking up, and they loving the music like of the Platters, the Bee Gees. That's the kind of songs that they do. And the duo and the harmonies are amazing. The harmonies are amazing. It's like Alice in Chains and Abbott and Costello combined. It is. You should check it out.
Wow. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. That sounds very interesting.
Yeah. And then and people loved it. And then the manager went out after their performance. Like, have you seen those two guys? Those two guys. They're gonna be here every Wednesday night. And after that bar every Wednesday night was packed. And then my dad and my uncle became famous, and they traveled the world. 33 countries around the world.
That's amazing.
Doing that.
That's amazing. That's so cool.
Crazy.
So did you start playing guitar at a young age, or when you came to America?
That's a good question, because I have 3 sisters and one brother, his little brother. But my 3 sisters and my dad and my mom, everybody knew how to play the guitar, except me when I was a teenager and I was the boy. I'm like, I wanted to learn how to play the guitar, but nobody's teaching me. And my dad, I'm not gonna teach you. You teach yourself. And also, he doesn't have time really. But I think what he was doing is, if you really want to learn something, you gotta find a way. If I handed it to you, then you're just gonna take it for granted because you got it easy. So I thought that was a good way to make me like hungry about playing guitar. And I was hungry, and I learned in the streets of Tondo, like late at night, like 12 o'clock in the morning, we're drinking with my friends outside, like in a basketball court, and we would be playing guitar and singing like 12 o'clock in the morning outside. That's here, you're gonna go to jail.
True, yeah. Or at least get a fine or something.
Yeah, you get a fine, ticket or whatever.
That's
true.
Crazy, man.
But that's how I learned how to play guitar. I was 17 when I started playing guitar, and then from then I just keep learning other people's songs, and write my own songs.
Very cool. So what was it like? Well, I'll get into that. I'm jumping ahead here, but you moved
Right.
to the U.S.
Yeah.
What year did you move to the U.S.? You were staying with family in New York, right?
Yeah, 2006.
2006. Okay. What was going through your mind when you came over? Did you travel alone? Like
No, my sister was here was in New York, Long Island, New York already since 2000 and I think 1999. I forgot, or 98. I forgot. Around that time, and she was already here for a long time before and my dad, like I said, my dad traveled around the world with my mom to perform for Filipino audiences all over the world, and they've been to America, and they toured America, I think twice, everywhere, West Coast, East Coast, and even Canada as well.
But did they stay in the Philippines, and you and your sister came to America?
When they were coming here, it's just the 2 of them, and they decided to bring my sister here, and then she stayed here. She's the first one to stay here, and she got married. And then later on, my mom and dad brought me here in 2006. We went to the plan was for me to work for my aunt's care home.
Okay.
I took a caregiving course in the Philippines, and that was supposed to be my job, man, a caregiver. And I knew everything. I know everything that in the medical, at least in running a care home. At least the medical procedures and all this stuff that you need to learn to be in the care home. I know all that stuff.
Oh, that's
and I ended up
something to fall back on,
I know, right? Literally, if somebody fall back, I mean. But we landed in San Francisco because my aunt lived in Antioch, California. And then after 2 months, plan has changed, and then my sister said, "You should just move here in New York." So I went to New York, my mom and dad, and after a month, my mom and dad left. Went back to the Philippines, and then it's just me and my sister, my brother-in-law, in Long Island. And after that, that's when it started.
So I mean, like, what was going through your head, like, mentally at the time? I mean, like, I might have read something that you posted or something on your website years ago that oh my God, what's the name of the song? It's Oh my God, it's in the it's on the tip of my tongue right now. It's from Origins. A place when
A
he
place.
when he wrote a place. I could have sworn he said something about like it was just something that you wrote when you were coming over here and just like mentally like you were um like away from home, like you
Hmm.
didn't know how to like fit in, you felt out of place kind of thing. Like was that what was going through your mind when you wrote that song?
Yeah, later on, when I realized that I have to stay in the U.S. But first, like you asked me, what was going through my mind mentally when the first few months that I was here. The first few months that I was here, I didn't want to really stay here in America. I wanted to go back. I told my mom and dad, I'm going back after 2 months. Is all of my I already have a life. I was 20 years old, 21 years old when I came here in America. So I already have my whole life in the Philippines, and then suddenly, boom, go to a different country,
Yeah.
like start a new slate. So it was hard for me. It's not like if you're 12 years old or 10 years old or 13 years old, and
Yeah.
then you move here. Now I think that's a lot easier transition than somebody who's 21 years old.
Oh, I totally get it, man. Like, yeah, I mean, luckily, luckily, I say luckily, I'm still in Connecticut, but I'd actually like to move to Texas, and at my age, it's like, I gotta pack up and leave,
Yeah.
to a whole new place and, make new friends and be away from family and stuff. But I mean, for a better life, I feel like it's honestly, it's what's calling me. Um, and it's just mentally myself, I'm just like, can I actually like really do this? Am I really willing to move away from everything that I've ever known to something
Mm.
that could be a lot better for me? I mean, like that's it's got to be what, something like that must have been running through your head at the same time, except a whole new country. Was there like a lot of culture shock when you first came over here too, or?
Um, we were educated in the Philippines about the U.S. uh really really well,
Mm,
and so knowledge base wise, it's not so much of a culture shock, but the day to day living is the I think it's a lot harder than knowing what's going on,
mm,
because when you're living here, in the Philippines, it's a lot busier, busier in a sense that there's a lot of things to do every day.
okay.
In America, if you don't have a job, because I didn't have a job for a few weeks, a few months, because it just came here. I'm like, how am I gonna do this? And it was first, it was tough, man, because you got nobody to talk to. Didn't know anybody, man.
Yeah, I
I didn't
can't.
know anybody at all. Mm, it's tough. It was tough.
I can't imagine, man. That must have been really hard.
Yeah.
Oh man. So did you start like you started playing acoustic more, right? And you started playing some songs and posting them on YouTube, correct?
Yeah, that's true. What became my outlet.
So you're a content creator before content creators were cool.
I hate that term, man. Stop using that term. It's either you're a singer, you're a director, you're a videographer,
You're an influencer.
influencer. That's another term that I hate, bro. It's either you have talent or you're an influencer.
Yeah, it just seems like everybody nowadays just like can get a computer and just play video games and think they can make it. It's not.
Oh man.
No, it's not like that at all, man. Like you got to have something to fall back on,
I
and
mean, not to step on video games, because my brother
no.
is a video game, but he also has a job.
Yeah.
So,
I'm not gonna lie, I got a Twitch channel myself too, but I only post like very part time because I work two jobs myself too,
yeah.
so but I mean, plus this podcast takes up a lot of my time too, but
And I don't
no,
want to sound ignorant, but I know there's a lot of video gamers, a lot of gamers out there that's making tons of money, and
oh yeah.
I'm aware of that. So if anybody is watching this right now, oh, what is song about? We don't have a job. It's a job. I know that. We're just saying that if you really if really that's your passion, then good for you.
Yeah,
A
exactly.
lot of people try to be that, even if they're not, and they spend their whole life doing that and fail.
It's just so much harder now, I feel like, to like even get that kind of notice on YouTube as well too. Like, you got really lucky when Aaron Lewis discovered one of your videos on YouTube, and like nowadays it's so saturated now with like everything. Like I can look up a million different cover songs of It's Been a While, or I could look up a million different videos on how to edit certain ways or do certain tricks and stuff like that. It's just so oversaturated now, and it's a lot harder to make a career living on YouTube. And you got really, really lucky with that at, when YouTube was still, I don't want to like, YouTube definitely wasn't catching the attention of a lot of people where they're like, oh, we can make money off of this. Till like now there's like so many guidelines and monetization, demonetize, whatever, to make any sort of money now. It's so much harder to get anywhere with YouTube these days. So I think you got, really lucky with that before
let me
all
tell
that
you
stuff
the story.
happened. Yeah, no, please. I want to hear what happened.
Well, let me tell you a story about the YouTube thing. Like I said earlier, when I came here in America, I landed in San Francisco, stayed at my aunt's house, and for a few weeks I got nothing to do. I don't have anybody. I don't drive. I don't have a license. So I stayed at home, and I saw them that they have a webcam, and then I've always wanted to see myself play because I never seen myself play. So I wanted to record myself. What do I look like? Do I look ugly like my face?
No.
When I sing, you know what I mean? And my dad also told me that, like, if you want to judge yourself on how you look, record yourself. And so I did, and they have a computer, an old computer, and I recorded myself and recorded a few songs. Black by Pearl Jam, So Far Away.
Nice.
And I forgot a few more songs. So that was the first few songs that I did. And then my sister told me to move in New York. And back then, the hard drives, the external hard drives, I don't think they existed.
No, it's just like back then, like the hard drives and all that other stuff, they were so much smaller, and like the hardware was just so much shittier.
Yeah. So and this is what happened. And because of me wanting to bring those files to New York, and I don't have a medium to do it. So I look online if I could upload it and then watch the videos later when I get to New York.
Oh.
So I found YouTube. There are other websites, but I picked YouTube. And then a few weeks after, I uploaded it, and then a few weeks after I flew to New York and then just left it there. And then a few weeks after I came in New York, I remember, I still have those videos. I want to check it. And then I checked it, and there's a lot of people commenting.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, like, and requesting songs. I'm like, I didn't know that people could do that.
That's crazy.
I was uploading it for myself, and it was public.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was an accident. And they were requesting, can you sing Nutshell by Alice in Chains?
I love your version of Nutshell, by the way. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. Thanks, man. And and so I did that. So I kept and this is me doing it for the love of music. And for people, they said they're helping. It's helping them out. So all right, I'm being purposeful. So I uploaded more videos, whatever they like, and then it ended up to Aaron Lewis. So that was the thing. I didn't plan this out, man.
No.
My dad never wanted me to be a musician.
Really?
Because he knows how hard it is.
What did he want you to be, or what was he pushing you to be?
Well, I went to this college, Lyceum University of the Philippines. And I hate school, man.
Me too.
I hate school. So that's another thing that we have in common. Yeah. I hated school, but he put me on this international trade, major international trade, foreign service, major in international trade. And I don't know what the hell it is.
I don't know what it is either.
I only have like 2 semesters there, and they're both the same classes because I failed it. And I told my mom, I'm not gonna do this. And they in the Philippines, your parents do pay your
tuition.
Your tuition, unless they cannot do it, you're not gonna go. And I told my mom, I don't want to waste your money. I don't want to lie that I'm gonna go to school and I'm just gonna go play billiards.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, and that was the same day that my mom was gonna pay the tuition for my next semester, and I'm like, what if we just go back and just save the money for maybe for the house, like add the payments for the next. And I told my mom, I don't want to lie to you. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I don't like school.
Well, that's good though. I mean, like you gotta, if you're not feeling it, and like anyone that's listening right now that's going to school or going back to school, like first of all, make sure it's something that you want to do.
Yeah,
first of all,
definitely.
you know what I mean? Like, don't waste your money on something that you don't want to do. I've spent most of my life doing stuff that other people thought I should do, and I spent less time doing what I wanted to do. And now I'm 33, trying to do what I want to do while still working for a living. But it sucks. I feel like I wasted a lot of time doing that. So, but I totally understand, man. At least you put your foot down and just like I don't want to do this, man. Like I don't want to spend your money on something that I'm gonna wind up not doing or hating.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's good, man. That's awesome. So you got the attention of Aaron Lewis on YouTube. What happened after that?
A couple of people. At first, I didn't believe that Aaron Lewis actually heard me singing on YouTube. There's a few people that tell me, "Oh, Aaron was listening to your music. I was at his house, and he was listening to your music, and he showed your videos to Vanessa." I'm like, what? Like this is like MySpace days, bro.
Oh my God, MySpace.
Exactly. Sending me a message over MySpace that they know Aaron Lewis, and they didn't believe it. Why would I believe it? I'm from. It's hard to believe because I'm from a poor neighborhood in a poor country, and that's my idol. And then you're gonna tell me that he's listening to me?
It's crazy.
Would you believe that?
I wouldn't believe it.
I don't.
I idolize the guy too. I've got lyrics tattooed across my arm from a Stayed song, and if somebody told me that, I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Exactly. I mean, even if you're from Massachusetts and somebody tells you, "Oh, Aaron, which is the closest place to be next to him," you still wouldn't believe it. More if you're from a different country.
Yeah.
And that's your idol growing up. And they're just listening to your song. So I didn't believe it. And then more and more people told me, "Oh, we showed your videos to Aaron." And then 2008 came. A few Stain fans bought me a VIP ticket because I never seen Stain before. I mean, never seen Aaron by himself before. I saw Stain 2006 when they did the Hirebone All Acoustic. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great show, but I never met them. And I told myself, well, someday I'm gonna meet you. It's gonna be special.
I've been telling myself that too, and it's never happened.
I'm sorry.
Someday, please. No, I'm.
No, I'm saying it's weird, man. How things. Anyway, so 2008 came, and a few friends and from the Stain family bought me a ticket to meet Aaron Lewis at the backstage. That's awesome. So I was at the back. And everybody was taking pictures with Aaron. And I have a CD of mine. I want to give it to him. My originals and his songs that I covered on a CD. It's like a bird. You know those stamps that you do?
Oh yeah. I used to have one.
Those. I gave that to him, and I have my face on it from MySpace. And then at first, like, "Oh, Aaron, I'm gonna take a picture with you." Sure, bro. And then I took a picture with him. And then.
But he already knew who you were at this point, like, because he already heard your music, right?
Yeah, this is it. I'm gonna
Wow.
tell you right now. So I gave him my CD, and he'll look at it, and he look at me. Are you the guy from MySpace? I know, man. It's fucking crazy.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, are you the guy from MySpace? He didn't say YouTube. He said MySpace. I don't know what
Ah.
MySpace.
Yeah.
Are you the guy from MySpace? And I'm just looking at him like, is this real?
He did hear my songs.
He did, and then all the, in the movies, like all the past people tell you, "I told you so."
Yeah.
That happened to me.
You're like a little kid, like jumping up and down, like, oh my God, oh my God.
Yeah, and not just that, all the people in the back in the VIP room was like, "Yes, that's him." They knew me too. What the hell? I'm like, Jesus Christ, am I dreaming right now?
That's so crazy.
Yeah,
Man.
well, it was funny. And then he was and he's like, "It's nice to meet you, Otan. I like your songs. I like your originals." And he told me, "You sound like somebody. I just don't know. I forgot who it is." And then people were laughing. Aaron was funny in real life, right? Off stage, he's really funny.
That's good to know, man. Like that man, like I said, that band and that man, like saved my life more times more times than I could count. Got me through a lot of dark times in my life, and to know that they're humble and awesome like that is really cool.
Yeah,
So
he's a great guy.
yeah. So he knew who you were, and liked your songs and everything like that. Like, what happened after that? I mean, like, did you guys like message back and forth, or did he send out an invite to you about some shows or something like that? Like, what happened?
No, in 2008,
My God, this is
that
2008.
yeah, that was in Atlantic City in Borgata. And in 2009, the same year or the same month, which is February, Valentine's Day weekend, I went to the same show, but this time I didn't have my VIP ticket because I think a couple of European fans wanted to be in the backstage. So I'm like, okay, you guys should get the backstage pass because you guys came from Europe.
Hmm.
But I told one of my friends who went to the backstage from France. Her name is Pixie, Little Pixie. Can you give this to Aaron? Okay, have him sign the DVD Unplugged, MTV Unplugged by
Oh my
Stan.
God, I loved that unplugged session.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh
That's
yeah,
amazing.
I got it on
One of the
DVD
best.
too, man. Yeah, that and
One of
Alice
the
in
best.
Chains.
Yeah, and Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
But and I told her, can you give this to Aaron and have him sign this DVD? Sure. And she went back and she told me, oh, Aaron was looking for you. Like, what did he say? Oh, Otan's here. Where is he? And anyway, so we went on this is before the show. So we went to the show. This is 2009 now, right? We went to the show. And at the end of his show, uh, Raina, which is my friend now, we were both staying fans. Uh, she was requesting, what about Otan song? What about Otan song? Because you know how Aaron Lewis would just take requests and just sing it
Yeah.
rather than the original.
Yeah.
This was the time like he was just singing anything. So Raina was requesting, what about Otan song? And Aaron was like, you know what? Where is he? And then you want to play a song? Otan, where you at? And they called me up on stage in front of 3,000 people.
That's so crazy. I saw the video and like you were just like,
Yeah.
I'm shaking. Everyone's like, come on, Otan, come on.
I was shaking, man.
So
I used
cool.
to. This is the time when I was playing for 4 people at the coffee shop,
Mm.
and then you get to play in front of Aaron Lewis's fans, 3,000 people.
It's such an amazing feeling too, like to play in front of crowds like that. I think the biggest crowd I've ever played in front of was we opened for Hailstorm back in 2013, and I went on right before they did on the main stage. We get to hang out with them during sound check and everything, and get to talk to them and everything. Super nice and super down to earth people.
Yeah.
But we played in front of like 2,000 plus people in a sold out venue, and it's just like, oh my God, like I'm never gonna live this up ever again, like or get to that level ever again. And like that's the most memorable show I've ever had. But
That's
we
awesome, man.
and we played a bunch of shows. I played with Nonpoint, Seven Dust, and all those other great bands and stuff, and so many great memories. But like the hype from that show alone, I was just like, oh, I'm never gonna forget this. So I totally get it, man. Like it's an amazing feeling.
Man, let me tell you about playing in front of a lot of people. After that, a lot of bands or a lot of artists, when they get that opportunity, they feel down after that show. After a few days, I mean, they're hyped up after the show because they're so proud of themselves.
Mm.
And then after a few weeks, they feel that down, like they're useless or we're not. Where am I going after? Like you said, it's hard to top something like that
Yeah,
if you're not doing.
you're chasing that high feeling again. It's
Yeah,
like an addiction. Yeah.
and it's yeah, it's an addiction. And if you don't do that on a regular basis, you get a little bit sad or depressed because you feel like I thought I already made it. Why am I back here?
Yeah.
You would feel that, and for a long time, for many times I felt that because I've always played with a lot of famous musicians, and on my own by myself, and 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 after that, few weeks after that, I would feel down again. You just played with fucking Corey Taylor, bro. Why are you feeling down? I'm like, because here I am again, like a nobody. And
Playing
at first, yeah, playing
playing
Jane or
playing it at a bar with like 30 people compared to like
exactly,
3,000, 4,000 people. Like, no, I get it, man. Like, I really do.
yeah,
'Cause I would go from playing that Hailstorm show to playing a bar full of like 30 people, if that. And most of them were local musicians from other bands because they were
yeah,
either playing that night or, waiting to go on or whatever, So, no, I get it, man. Like, you want
yeah.
more. You want more, you know?
But then later on, I realized that, like I said, it's all about perspective.
Hmm.
And I realized, and my wife helped me out with this. She said, "Imagine yourself being in a touring band. Do you really want that life? You really want that, like every day or every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you play in front of that much people, right? It's good, it's great, it's amazing, obviously, right? And you get paid. But there will come a time that that thing will be the normality for you, and you're gonna want more. And if you wanted more, like you're playing for 5,000 people, right, on a daily basis, and then that became normal after a few years. Now you want 30,000 people, and you did that for a few times, and you went back to 5,000 people. That 5,000 people, for most bands that are famous, is our 30 people in the bar.
Hmm.
So it's about perspective.
It's
That's my statement.
perspective and just being appreciative too, because I mean
Yes. Yeah.
without those 30 people, you wouldn't
Yeah.
be in front of those 3,000 plus people, supporting you every day like that, or
I
gaining
totally agree.
getting all these followers on Facebook and social media and stuff.
Mhm.
Like you're doing something right, man. Like, and I know it's hard for a lot of musicians out there to like uh you know taking me for example again, like playing that one show and then going back to something else. It's all about perspective, being appreciative too, like saying thank you and stuff like that too, because I mean
Yeah.
you can make somebody's day a lot better.
That.
I've had kids come up to me after some shows that I've done with Hailstorm or Seven Dust or whatever, like, "Oh, you were really good, man!" Like, and I could think like the mix wasn't good, like I couldn't hear myself, I wasn't on top. You know what I mean? Like I'd be like,
Yeah.
"No, I sound like shit, man!" Like, but I can't say that because like it just contradicts what they're saying, and it's
Yeah.
insulting in a way too. It's like they're taking their time to say, "Hey, you kicked ass," like
Hmm.
and you just got to say thank you and stuff like that. So it took me a while to realize that because I was just like, they're going out of their way to say how awesome I was. I should just say thank you, So
Exactly. I mean, the fact that they were there instead of
exactly.
somewhere else, you know, and I just realized this later on in my life, like these people are here on a weekend to see me.
Mm,
They could have been somewhere else,
mm,
but they drove here. They spent the money to see me. I don't care how many people. I don't care if there's 3 people or 4 people. I would go there to their table and say thank you.
that's awesome, man. That's how you
And
got to be, man. That's how
that's
you got to be.
that's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
I don't care how many. And I see people. I see the number of people growing too. It's if you stop paying attention to what you think is important, it would grow by itself. And then later on, you realize, oh, it did it by itself. And you wouldn't have that that cockiness, so I did it myself.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
No,
Because
I totally get it, man.
yeah, it's naturally happened.
I got to tell you, man, before we got started today, like when we spoke earlier today about getting ready for tonight, like I made a post on Facebook saying that I was interviewing you tonight. I also shared it in a Stained Facebook group, and man, you got a lot of love in that group, man. Like I was like, oh, I'm interviewing Otan tonight on my podcast. If you guys got any questions, some guy was like, if anybody in this group doesn't like Otan, they can talk to me because like, you got a lot of love in that group, man. So
That's awesome, man.
shout out to those people. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But moving on here. So the Atlantic City show, definitely check out that video if you guys haven't seen that. What Otan was just talking about, it's so crazy and it's so awesome. He played It's Been a While and just totally killed it. But you moving on to recording, you've got three albums. You've got Alone. What was it like working on that album?
Well, that album was organic, and I made it that way. I didn't want to. I could have waited out and release it and produce it with drums, bass, and other instruments, but I decided this is where I'm at right now. This is 2008, 2009. This is where I'm at right now, and I want to capture who I am right now. And that's all I was, have an acoustic guitar. I don't want to pretend that I'm somebody with all this backing band if I wasn't. So I wanted to capture not just the voice or the guitar or the emotion by myself. This is where I came from, and slowly I would gradually move forward and evolve to something that, I mean, I wouldn't be changing myself, but I would evolve musically to something else. And I kept it simple, and then just an acoustic guitar, one mic in front of me, and I just sang my heart out. The whole album was like that.
Just raw. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then Selected Sorrow was your follow-up to that. What was the recording process for that like?
It was tough because that was the first time my dad went to the hospital here in America. And that's when he got sick. So I was staying at the hospital to watch over my dad. And then the next day I would go to the studio and then go back to the hospital studio.
Ugh.
And I was also working at a newspaper deliver. I used to deliver newspapers.
I used to do that as a kid too.
Isn't that crazy? You did it as a kid. I did it as an adult.
Oh, I did it partially as an adult too for a little while. So I know how it is.
Tough. It was tough. Like wake up 2:00 in the morning, and go to the warehouse and wrap your papers and deliver like 500 houses.
And then on top of going to the hospital and then going to the studio.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, I could do the work easily. I could do any kind of work, but seeing my father like that, I couldn't. I mean, it weakens you.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So that, but while I was recording that, especially Under the Rain, I had my father listen to it, and he was like, "I love this one. He has a really good message." And then that stuck with me, that what he said about that song. That's why I love that song too, Under the Rain, because it's hopeful that things will be all right. That's the theme of the song.
It's very cool. And then you followed up with Origins and got to work with John April of Stained. And again, that's when I first reached out to you after that because, like I said, John was working with Sakara, and then he was working with you. And I'm like, oh, who's this guy? And then I checked out. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's amazing. Like, I have to hit this guy up and tell him how great he is. But what was it like working with John?
It was good. Well, there's a reason why I call it Origins, because most of the songs that I have there was from Alone. So basically, Origins is like where I came from.
Oh.
I just made it
just more ramped up a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and especially with the full band now, and Johnny April producing it. Johnny April is a great guy, great producer, man. He's very technical, very detailed, kind of creative. I wouldn't say he's a perfectionist that it's annoying. No, he's not like that. He's perfectionist, and he'll tell you why. Because okay. It's like explain it to a kid. Oh, that's why you're doing that.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah. Well, doing it as long as he has, he's got an ear for certain things, and
definitely, man.
sure knows how things got to be a certain way. It's kind of funny. Like we're talking about John real quick. My old guitarist, like I said, Pete, knew him from like back in the day, and the stories that he told me about John before he got big with Stained was he worked at a restaurant or diner or something, and my old guitarist was in a band, and they would go hang out with John after they'd play shows, and John would make them like cheeseburgers and stuff like that. And I'm like, that's cool. That's crazy. I was like, and now this dude is like selling out to, stadium shows and everything like that. I'm like, that's crazy. But
that's why I love Johnny April, because he lived it. He lived a hard life, and he lived like all of like us, like normal people. He lived like us.
Yeah.
And then he became famous and become a rock star. And the way he lived his life right now, you can see it. He's very modest, because he knows how to keep his money. Because he's been to that state where money is hard to find.
Yeah, and I see a lot of the stuff he's been doing lately. He's been working with leather, making masks, especially with everything going on right now. Yeah,
he's a talented guy, man.
Yeah,
he could make anything.
He's got like this potato thing going on in like this 5-gallon bucket with like a PVC pipe sticking out. I'm like, what the fuck is that? He's like, oh, he's growing potatoes. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, let me tell you this: if shit hits the fan, I'm looking for Johnny, because I know I'm gonna survive. No, the guy knows how to make knives. That's
I did see that. Yeah, I did see that.
And then he knows farming, and he knows everything.
Very cool.
And that's the reason why I said he's a great bass player, a great musician, because when he do something, he really put all his attention in that thing, all his focus in that thing, and learn it to the T before he moves into something. That's when I said he's very technical, and he's very almost like a perfectionist, because he's so focused.
I feel like that's all bass players for some reason, because my old bass player was the same way. Like, he recorded all of our stuff when we got together, if we were working on new stuff or if we were laying down tracks for a new album, and he would like do all the editing, and like if my pitch wasn't right, he'd be like, do it again. Like, you could do better. But he was like super nice about it. Be like, you could do better. Stuff like that. So I think that's got to be a lot of bass players. Their hearing is so much better than mine.
Right. What I heard with John, he didn't tell me this directly, but I overheard what he said about bass playing. He said it's not about what you play. It's about what you don't play. Because it's easier to go crazy. But in bass playing, it's more important to know when not to play. And then I thought, like, oh, that's a really great perspective, and those are the kind of things that I appreciate when I hang out with my heroes, the little wisdom that they tell me.
That's awesome.
And he said, like, it's more about what you not play rather than, because everybody could be like crazy bass player. Does it sound good? You know what I mean?
True.
Does it, it's if it sounds good as a unit, because I don't think there's a solo bass player that made it, unless you're the Victor Wooten or
Primus.
Flea. But still, they were in bands. I'm just saying, it's not like an acoustic guy with a guitar and the vocals. They can make it as a solo artist.
True, very true.
So it's a unit. So it's what you not play that matters, because you're gonna ruin the whole song.
Exactly. Plus, you'll notice if there's no bass in a song either. Like, I don't know if it's just our musicians. Like, if the bass ain't there, you're like, this don't sound right. Like,
yeah, exactly. This is the thing. I'd rather play solo acoustic and just the voice than having a drums and another guitar player without a bass. Like,
do you like working like that, or would you consider maybe working with, because I know you did something with Sal from Stained. You did that song Ground. Was that something that was gonna develop into a separate project, or like what happened with that?
Well, Magna Libra, that's the name of the project. It's more of it's just a studio project. It's not a band.
Okay.
It could be different guys. It's my way of releasing something that's a little heavier than what I do. So I
Mm.
still, at least I have that channel or that avenue that I could tap into for a full band heavier than what I do.
That
So
song's really good, by the way. Really
thanks,
good.
man. Sal did an amazing job, and he nailed it like in, I don't know, a few days, obviously. and and Rich Marlowe played the bass and did amazing, and Steve Sigerman played the guitar.
Nice. So yeah, guys, definitely check out that song "Ground." It's amazing. I'll post links to all this stuff once this goes live, so you guys can check out Otan and everything he's done. But moving on from that was actually the next question I was going to ask you was about that song "Ground."
Yeah,
But
that's awesome, man.
so you're talking about playing shows not only with Aaron Lewis, but I mean like with Corey Taylor, Adam, formerly from 3 Days Grace, and he's now with
Hmm.
Saint Asonia, Sean of Seether, Corey Lowry. I almost worked with Corey Lowry years ago on a record.
Yeah,
It didn't work out, unfortunately, but that the Reach Foundation, like and Mike Mushok on top of it too, like that was just a killer show
yeah.
at Foxwoods, like going to see for the. I got a confession to make though. That day of the show, I wasn't going to talk about this, but I'm going to anyway because I'm going to throw my ex under the bus for this. We caught maybe like the last 10 minutes of your set because my ex made us late. And I was so mad at her. I was so mad at her. I gave her the silent treatment for the rest of the night because I was like,
Oh
I
my
have
God.
to see Otan. I'm going there to see Otan. I haven't seen him play before. And then she's like, don't worry. We'll get there on time. We'll get there, blah, blah. And we get there, and you're like, all right, it's the last song of the night. And then he played. I'm like, I just look at her. I'm like, I hate you right now. I hate you so much.
Imagine if you missed the whole set.
I would have, oh my God. I would have broke up with her that night.
Oh my God.
No.
I'm gonna write a song about it.
But it was very cool getting to hang out with you afterward at the Hard Rock, and
man.
grab a couple drinks with you and get to know you. I'm sorry
Yes,
I talked your ear off that night, and I walked away. I'm like,
yeah.
oh my God, I'm such an idiot.
It's fine, man. Yeah. I'd rather listen than talk.
Yeah. My ex was like slapping me too. She's like, you didn't shut up the whole time, and I'm like, I know. Stop rubbing it in. Thanks. But no, I definitely want to catch you again, like whenever this pandemic ends, and if you're ever in Connecticut again. But I mean, like, well, that show though, I mean, like working with all those guys, like Scott Stapp too. On top of that, like I was a huge Creed fan back in the day, and I got a lot of shit for that. But like I loved Creed, and what's it like? I mean, like just me living vicariously through you just for a minute. Like, what's it like getting to hang out with your heroes like that? Because a lot of those guys are my heroes too, and I just want to know, like, how are they, like, in person and stuff like that? Are they, and working with them on top of it? It must be crazy.
Well,
Crazy in a good way, I should say.
yeah, it is. It's amazing, man, and I'm very fortunate to be able to just to meet them is something, and what more to actually work with them or share the stage with them. It's I don't know. Don't wake me up is what I'm saying. Ever since I came in America, man. Ever since I landed here, I know the first few months was tough, but I'm very appreciative of this country and what it did for me and for my family. And when they said you can do anything, that's literally true, and I believe that. And working with my idols, it just happened, man. I still can't believe that things like that happen. For some reason, there's this kind of energy that attracts you to them, and then they get attracted back to you.
That's very cool.
It's not just something that you just it's an acquaintance.
Yeah.
It becomes like me and Johnny Damon. I text him all the time.
I totally forgot to bring him up too.
Yeah, he became like he's my mentor now, and he's a
so
good
cool.
guy. He's a great person, and things like that. It's like a movie, man. It's almost like a movie, and I don't want to wake up from this.
I can see the biopic right now. Like, who would you get to play you in that movie?
Some little Asian dude. Yeah.
Hey, you never know. I mean, like, you're so so successful right now. Who knows? Maybe one day I'll go to the theater and be like, Otan Vargas, the story. I'm gonna be like, one please. Like, let me go see that. Like,
Oh man, but
you never know.
it's yeah. I guess what you call this, the weight of the experience when I meet these people. That weight. I mean the effect on me at that time is not. You from I don't know how to word it. It's like the universe will ready you before you experience something.
I get it, man. Like, I
It
totally get it.
right. It kind of what's the
It,
term, bro?
it aligns in ways, like the universe just aligns in ways, like whether or not we see it or not, like, our paths are already laid out in front of us, good or bad. I kind of feel like things just fall into place whether we see it or not, and then once we start seeing things, you're like, oh, like, okay, I'm supposed to be here and I didn't realize that. You know what I mean? Like, or
Mm-hmm.
I've been busting my ass off for so long working towards something, and then look at all this good stuff that's happened that I've
Yeah.
might have, not take, or might have not noticed before, or something like that. Like, I just feel like um a lot of good, like, and a lot of hard work has definitely come your way over the years and stuff like that, and it's paying off tremendously. And you got a lot of solid fans, including me. Like,
Thanks, man.
I'll listen to your music all the time, man. Like, you're a good dude, and you have an amazing voice, and you're super humble. So, and
Right.
just being like that, I just, I don't know. I'm a firm believer in the universe. I don't know if, like, I'm
Yeah,
big into
man.
like religion or anything like that. I try to stay humble myself too, and try to pay it forward as much as I can, because I would like that same back to me. You know what I mean? Like,
Totally agree, man. Yeah. Like I said, it kind of before you experience something huge, like the universe, like you said, prepares you before you take that bigger step.
exactly.
For example, it would give you something smaller experience, and if you appreciate that, it'll give you the bigger one. And it always happened to me. That kind of pattern always happens to me. If the saying, like the most opportunities will show up as like a negative thing, or a work, or
Or a lesson.
something that or lesson. Yeah, well, so a lot of people doesn't take those opportunities because it doesn't look good, so they skip that. They just want something that's grand looking.
Yeah.
But before you get to that huge opportunity, you gotta the universe tests you first. That's why I said it prepares you.
Test your
So
strength.
yeah, it tests if you're ready and how you're gonna react when you see Aaron Lewis or Scott Stapp or Adam, or are you gonna be like crazy, you don't know what you're gonna say or how you're gonna react, and they're gonna know if you don't belong in the group. You know what I mean? It's like, and you don't get invited again. And for some reason, uh, uh, my dad, I'm lucky that my dad's profession was like that, and it prepared me for this. My whole life as a teenager, I went at my dad's shows and met a lot of celebrities, Filipino celebrities. So growing up, I'm used to be around celebrities because of my father.
Mm.
So to me, like, they're just normal people. They're
Yeah.
just, and I don't look up to them because of their status, but because of the talent that they have and the time that they put in their craft. That's what I respect. I mean, I could meet somebody who's famous, and if I don't really appreciate it, you're famous because somebody made you famous. I don't think I mean, I respect you as a person, but I wouldn't respect you as an artist. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Like, Kardashians, for instance. Yes.
Exactly, or some influencers.
Yes. No, I totally get it. Like it took me a while to get like that. Like when I first started playing a lot of these big shows, I'm like, for instance, my first 2 months with my band in the Red, we played this show in West Springfield, this bar that's no longer there, Geraldine's, and Ollie Herbert, rest in peace. He was there that night. And my drummer pointed him out. And he was like, "Oh, dude, you know who that is?" I'm like, "He looks familiar, but like I can't see it. Like the lighting in here sucks." He's like, "Dude, that's Ollie from All That Remains." I'm like, "What? Like, holy shit!" And I go over there and I'm like, "Oh my god!" And I'm like, "Shut the fuck up! Like, calm down." Like, I'm like, "Hey, what's up? Like, how you doing? I'm a big fan. This, that, and the other." And he was like, "Hey, were you that guy up there that was singing for the opening?" I'm like, "Yeah." He says, "Oh, you're pretty good." And
That's awesome.
And I'm like, "Oh, can I buy you a beer?" And he says, "Ah, I'm all right. I've had a couple already." And I'm like, "Oh God, you must be drunk then to think I was good then." Like in the back of my mind, just like self-conscious or whatever. But like, I ended up getting a picture with him, and it was really cool. But that was the first and only
That's
time.
awesome, man.
The first and the only time I ever met Ollie, and I'm actually friends with Jeannie Sagan. She's married to my best friend, and yeah. So I mean, it's just crazy. Like some like I'm very blessed and yeah, to have the opportunities that I've had as well too, and I've definitely learned fast. Like, okay, like you're a little starstruck, calm the fuck down.
Yeah, I mean,
You got to be cool. If you're cool, like you got to be cool with people because, like you said, they're just people too. You know what I mean? You can respect their craft and everything like that, and then like once you leave, like, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened. But like, you got to keep it cool sometimes with people.
Yeah, man. Well, I'll give you this example. Oh, the first few times I met Aaron Lewis, I was younger, not a kid, but I was a lot younger, and for somebody who came from a different country, and to meet his idol growing up, I would be starstruck, and I was for a few times, but whenever I see him, I still have that same excitement that I get to see this guy. He's my hero, but minus the starstruck.
Because he's also a friend now, right?
Yeah, I see him now as somebody who there's a lot of things to learn from this guy, and I respect him with what he has done in his life and in the music business. Not more like, oh, I love your songs, I love this. I still love this song. I still love his songs, obviously. But I see him in a different perspective now. That now I'm doing what he used to do when he was starting.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? It's like now it's suddenly, instead of just being somebody who's just appreciating for his being an artist, now you're like in a class and you're the student. And
he's the mentor. Yeah.
Yeah, as the master.
That's awesome. That's great. Just real quick before we get into a couple fan questions I got for you. Talking about Stained, I honestly, like, I've seen them. Oh God, I don't know, like 5-6 times in my lifetime. Every time was like a religious experience. I'm not gonna lie. But probably the best show ever that I've seen from Stained was years ago. I was in high school still. And the Webster Theater, I don't know if you're familiar with the Webster, but that venue in Hartford was actually where Limp Bizkit discovered, or Fred Durst discovered them and how they got famous.
Yeah.
But I played that venue hundreds of times too. But I got to see them with Shine Down, Smile Empty Soul, and Low Pro, and that was the first time I ever knew who Low Pro was, and I fell in love with that band immediately. But you couldn't even buy tickets for the show. You had to donate food to Food Share, which is the food bank here in Connecticut, and you got like a lottery ticket in order to win tickets for that show. And I ended up just calling into the radio and winning the tickets, and I was just like, holy shit, like, I'm going to the show. So I'll never forget that night. Aaron came up, like everyone came up like one at a time playing their stuff. And Aaron came up. He's like, "This is where it all fucking started." And then they just kick in with Raw. Like, I'll never forget that night. Well, was that Stained show when you met Aaron for the first time? Was that your most memorable Stained show? Just gushing a little bit about the band. I'm sorry, but
yeah, the first time that Are you asking when's the first time I met Aaron?
No, I mean, like, what was the most memorable, like,
Oh,
Stain show? I should say that, because we both love the band so much. I mean, like,
the
was it
first one. The first one.
first one?
Oh,
Okay, okay.
absolutely. Because that show, there's this story about that is a year before I came to America, my sister bought me this Dysfunctional Fun Club CD
Yep.
with a shirt and a ticket for a show.
Hmm.
And I'm like, why am I gonna do this ticket? I'm in the Philippines. They never come here, right? So I'm like, chuck it. Like, I mean, I didn't chuck it, but I put it away. Uh, so and then I didn't know that I was gonna come in America a year after
That's
and
crazy.
have the fan club membership. And that show, October 2006, was exclusively for dysfunctional fan club members.
That's crazy. I
And
remember the
I
dysfunctional fan club. Yep.
and I used the same membership, and I got there for free because it's free for it's. I think the recording that you well, obviously they did record it, and that's why it's just for a few fans that are a fan club, and I was lucky to have that because of my sister bought me that, and this is not knowing that I'm even gonna come to America. So that was memorable for me because I met them. I mean, I didn't meet them. I mean, I've seen them because of that ticket that I had back in the Philippines.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Just real quick, did you ever pick up their album Tormented?
Oh no, I did not because it was in the Philippines. But a few Stain fans bought me the Stain Tormented CD. I just received it 2 weeks ago. I was doing
Have
a
you
lot
have
of
you never
live.
heard it? Have you never heard it before that?
No, I've heard it, but not the
All
actual
right.
CD.
Okay. All right.
But I finally have the CD now, thanks to Jennifer and all those diehard Stain fans.
So for listeners out there, this album Tormented was actually their official first album, and you can't get it online like through Apple or anything like that. You literally have to find a copy somewhere and purchase it.
Yeah,
Um,
badass man.
yeah, it's really good. But all right, we're getting off that. I got a couple fan questions here for you. Actually, two from one person that came in today. Michelle writes in. I'd like to ask him two things. What is the best part of traveling so much, performing his music?
Who's asking this?
Michelle is asking this. What is the
Okay.
best part of traveling so much, performing your music?
The best part were there's two different scenarios when I was single or before my son into my life. I enjoyed traveling alone, by train. Dude, I from New York City to Los Angeles, I took the Amtrak. It was 67 hours on my own with just books and my acoustic guitar. And that show that I did was for the Battlefield of the Mind with David Ellefson from Megadeth, by Empire, uh, guys from Seether and Evanescence was there, and that was the opener. I'm like, oh, I want to take this opportunity to see the country. So I did 67 hours,
That's
and that
crazy.
you know when you say like whenever you see Stan, it's like very spiritual and religious experience. To me, traveling isn't a religious experience; it's a spiritual experience to me. Especially if I'm not driving.
I have to agree, definitely.
Yeah. So Michelle, that's what that's one, and the second one is now I could bring my wife and my son, and I could show him a lot of places. My son has been everywhere: Maine, Lake George, uh, Long Island, where we live, and he's been everywhere, man. Like all New England.
Mm.
Before he was 2.
He's
He's not
getting
even 2 yet.
he's getting big, man. I see all the pictures you
Yeah,
post, man. Yeah, he's getting big.
and we were supposed to be in Europe before this coronavirus happened. And I was gonna bring him, but hopefully it'll happen soon after this.
It'll
It's not.
definitely happen again.
Yeah, definitely, man. But yeah, that's the perk, and it gets tiring sometimes, especially when I've done the show before and I have to go back there multiple times because I've seen I've seen the scenery already.
Yeah.
I like something new all the time. It's just, and then and I used to take buses before I drove because I never had a license till 2015. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, it's not that crazy. I know a lot of people that still do that now. I mean, like, I can't imagine getting around myself, getting on buses and stuff like that. But I mean, like, then again, I never really had to. But I mean, I don't judge anybody for getting their licenses later in life.
Yeah, yeah. It's a long story, man. Because it's not that I could not get a license. Is I'm not allowed to
So I
because
mean,
of my yeah.
so are you fully a citizen now in this
Yeah,
country?
yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I just got my citizenship last year.
Oh, congrats, man.
Thank you, brother. But
Yeah.
I've been a green card holder since 2015.
Wow.
That's when I got my license to drive and everything. But
Gotcha.
it was tough, man. As a musician, I mean, being from a different country and then not being able to drive or go to your own shows, it
Yeah.
was extra hard for me to actually do something.
And you got a nice truck too, if I remember correctly,
Yeah,
right? You got like an SUV or a truck, right? Like
it's a forerunner. Yeah,
nice. Very nice.
yeah.
The other part of that question that she asked is, what is the worst part about traveling so much, performing your music? I
Not
mean,
being with my son. Now that I'm a father, what the worst part is not being with my son if I couldn't bring him with me.
well,
Is that the question?
yeah, that's the question. It was just the two parters. What's the best part of traveling, performing, and what's the worst part about traveling, performing?
Yeah, like I said, it all goes down to my son. The best part is with my son, and the worst part is without my son.
Definitely. I don't have kids myself, man, but like I can understand how you feel, man. Like I only have a pet, like, and I get attached to pets easily. So I mean, like when I'm away from my pets, like right now my cat is yelling at me right now.
Hey, I heard it.
Kitchen. I'm sorry, but every time I let her in here when I'm doing this, she's usually by the power supply and she has a habit of accidentally switching something off and then I lose everything. So she's got to stay in the kitchen.
Yeah,
But
my
no,
wife has one cat too. Her name's
oh,
Nika.
oh, okay. Well, I think that's gonna do it for this. Is there anything you want to plug? I know things are kind of on hold right now with everything with the coronavirus right now. Are any shows like still a go right now? Because I looked at your website and it looked like you had some shows for May. I don't know if
No, those things are all canceled.
they're all canceled. Okay.
Yeah, I think bands in town uh, they canceled a few dates on their end because of the coronavirus, and they deleted a lot of dates on automatically. And I
Okay.
thought they were gonna do the same thing, so I didn't touch the bands in town, and but they did not. So I'm gonna take those down, and
Okay.
it's until further notice, I guess, when we go back to doing live shows. But right now, um, I just finished doing a 40 nights doing live stream every Monday to Friday. I just did it last Friday. Not this Friday, the other Friday. I finished. No, which is today, Saturday? Yeah,
Say
Saturday.
sorry. Yeah.
The other Friday is my 40th night of doing live stream, and I'm just taking a few weeks off, and then I'll go back doing it again.
Are you writing?
Uh,
Are you writing at all, or
was that?
are you writing new music at all?
Yeah, that's the reason why I stopped, because I wanna be able to focus on writing too, because it's a two different mind frame. When you're trying to write and you have a gig tonight, and you perform in front of people tonight, not in front, but it's a performance. It's total different mindset. So
It's definitely different too, in a way. Like going from playing to 30 to 3,000 people to live streaming online. Like I can understand. Like it's definitely a lot different, and it's a different feeling and stuff. And if anybody listening or watching right now, definitely check out Otan on Facebook. Um, Tune into his live stuff. Definitely leave a tip too. You know what I mean? Like tip your artists that are going live like that. Support your local artists because that's how they make their money. You know what I mean? Definitely support him and everything like that. And if you ever do like get a chance to go recording again, or work on a new album, like I definitely make a suggestion. You don't have to if you don't want to, but Dexter's Lab here in Connecticut. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but they've worked with D. Snyder, Hatebreed, Killswitch Engage. They work with a lot of local bands here too. And Nick Belmore, the owner of Dexter's, he's actually the touring drummer for D. Snyder and Jamie Joss's project too. So like he knows,
that's awesome.
He knows his stuff, man, and like his stuff is so like mind-blowingly good. Just a suggestion. I don't know if you got anybody that you already work with, but you know he definitely knows his stuff, and you know.
Yeah, I'll check him out. Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Well,
yeah, no problem.
I think I heard of it too. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, definitely check out Otan on Facebook and support him there. Check out his website at otanvargas.com. Is there anything else you want to plug or any messages you want to tell people?
Well, thanks for doing this, AJ.
Oh, thanks.
Appreciate it, man.
I appreciate you taking the time to hang out with me, man. I've been sweating my ass off in my apartment right now. I got all my windows closed. I got my fan off, just trying to get some good audio. Like I'm glistening right now. So, but this was great, man. I had a great time. For everybody else, if you want to check out more from me, definitely subscribe to this podcast on Apple, Google, and Spotify. Check us out on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. And if you want to check out some of my work, I do a lot of graphic art and video work on the side. Check me out at www.alanmpelletierjr.com. If you like Twitch at all, I'm on Twitch too at twitch.tv/JRBuckleGaming. I've been really tied up with video editing lately for clients, so I haven't been doing much lately on my Twitch channel. Yeah, that's basically about it. Again, Otan, thank you very much for taking this time.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. Yeah, stay safe and stay healthy, brother.
You too, man. All right.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.